Welcome to this episode of the Celebrate Brave podcast. My name is Nicole Steinbach, the International Bravery Coach, and your host. Before I dive into today's very cool topic, all about growth and a mindset shift that I have been going through and that has also been benefiting my clients over the last couple of months, I want to let you know I am doing monthly webinars. So if you are not on my email list, if you are not following me on social media, you are missing some really cool live interactive webinar opportunities. In February, I covered a very powerful How to Feel Your Feels. I am still getting feedback on that one. In March of 2023, I covered in depth the interest interviews, why they matter, how to do them like concretely. So good. Cannot believe how many people are now out there actually building their network in a really wonderful, powerful, supportive way. And in April, I am going to cover the interest to outcome framework that I teach my clients so that they show up in expert senior energy so that when they leave any interview at all, they leave with the information they need to decide if they want to move forward. It totally changes the game. The interview to outcome framework is a game changer. That's going to be on April 21st at 11 a.m. Denver time, so Mountain Time. That's where I live in Denver. That is 7 p.m. Frankfurt. It's 1 p.m. New York. And it's 10 a.m. West Coast. All right. Get on my email list. I'm going to be doing these monthly for the next period of time. And it is an incredibly powerful way to get access to direct coaching and learn these incredible frameworks that help my clients stress a lot less, work less, and so that they can live and earn more. That's what we want to do here. Okay. And it's always in that order. First, we stress less, then we work less, and then we live and earn more. God, I wish someone would have told me that really early in my career. Because, man, once I got that down, woo, crossed that six figure very quickly, got into the executive level very quickly, and then started crossing into those double and triple six figure salary income. All right, let's talk about the topic for today, growth. All right. First, I'm going to start off with a truth. You are going to grow past everything you love about your life right now. Everything that you love about your life, you are going to outgrow, or you're going to be stagnant. But if you're going to be stagnant, you're not going to be listening to this podcast. Let's be real. The role you have in your career right now, the employer, the manager, the mentor, the mentees, you're going to grow past all of that. You're going to grow past your career. Even people who do something as quote unquote committed as a surgeon grow past their career. You will too. The friendships that you have right now, you're going to grow past them too. How they're set up, why they're set up that way, how you support each other or don't. You're going to outgrow that. Your hobbies, you're going to outgrow them. You're going to create new hobbies, get interested in different things. Where you live and how you live, you're going to outgrow that. Maybe it'll show up in redecorating and changing who sleeps where and where things are eaten and where you can grab your plates or your bowls or whatever. Or maybe it's the city. You're going to outgrow the city. You're going to want a bigger city, or you're going to want to go to the country. Your faith community, your role in the faith community, you're going to outgrow that too. Everything that you love in your life, you are going to outgrow. That's part of being brave. And I know that I was not told this. In fact, recently, I've been really struggling with two areas of growth in my life: my parenting and who I have been allowing to coach me, who I have been paying to coach me. And it has really been a struggle. And I have gone to my coach, I have gone to my therapist, I have gone mostly to me and asked me questions, trying to get clear. And all of these people have helped me. All of these people have supported me. All of these people have shared a different perspective or asked me powerful questions to help me. I got book recommendations, podcast recommendations. It's been so powerful. And then I was talking to somebody who's been in my life for, I'm going to guess, getting close to 30 years. This is not somebody who I have a deeply intense friendship with, but we genuinely keep in contact over time. And I said, this person works in an area that is completely different than mine. Her lifestyle is set up completely different than mine. And she had posted something and we got into conversation. So we got on the call. All right. And I was explaining to her, like, yeah, I'm really struggling with my parenting and I can see that I'm struggling and I'm really upset about this coaching relationship that I had chosen for myself and that ended up not being what was promised, and it was not what I could accept. Other people feel differently and that's totally fine, but this was for me, right? And I was talking about how I have to like shove myself into a place, or it feels like I have to cut some part of myself off to fit, and that I have built these skills and now I have to throw them away. And I was being very dramatic. Okay. I can also be very, very dramatic. I'm a human. And she shared with me a beautiful statement. She said, actually, Nicole, I don't agree with that. Because when I watch you from outside, and again, we're not very close, right? She says, when I watch you from the outside, what I actually see is you like step into boxes, and those boxes are enormous for you. You're like this little Nicole in a big box. And then you extraordinarily rapidly grow into that box. You make it your own. You decorate it. You grab the skills. You get the community. And that very big box is suddenly yours. And she said, sometimes I watch you and it feels like it's overnight. And I'm sure it's not, she says to me. I'm sure it's not, but it feels like it's overnight. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't know what you're talking about. And then she says, and then it's time for you to grow into that next box. But she says, you and I, we grew up with the message, be happy with what you have. If you aren't starving, be happy. If you aren't completely alone, even if people aren't treating you very nicely, be happy. Who are you to ask for more? Blew my mind. Blew my mind. Now I went back and forth with her for a little while because that's how it is with me. I'm like, well, what about this situation? And how do you see that situation? And tell me more there. And no. Right. So it's not like I was like, oh, truth has been spoken. I have goosebumps and now my life has changed. Like I really went back and forth with her. She continued to share her perspective. She shared her life. I invited her onto the podcast and she was like, oh my God, heck no. Because I wanted her to share this, right? And everybody has different things. And I'm this big extrovert who loves people. I love talking. And so this is like the perfect medium for me, but not everybody wants to be here. So, which is totally fine. And girl, you're probably listening and I love you. Thank you for this. So as I was taking this impulse that she gave me and I was bringing it in, I was thinking about it. How is it true? How is it right? Right? A lot of the times we want to focus when we get new ideas or new skills, we want to focus on how it's wrong. I really recommend starting first with how could this be right and exploring that. How could this fit? What value could I get from this? And then go into like, well, what is wrong about this? And the more that I allowed myself to explore how this could be right, a picture in my mind began to form. It's a picture of making dough. Follow me here. Have you ever made bread? I don't make bread a lot. I've made it maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in my life. But think about making bread. You get the ingredients and they all fit into 1/3 of the bowl. But when you mix them together, suddenly they need a little more than 1/3. And then you put a nice little towel over it and you walk away. And when you come back some hours later, it needs 3/4 of the bowl. So you knead it, right? You help it grow. You put in some experience, some skills, some struggle. You're really kneading it, right? With your hands and with your arms and your shoulders, you're really kneading it. And you put it back into that bowl where the ingredients just took up like 1/3 of it. You put that back into the bowl, you cover it with a towel, you walk away, you come back a few hours later. And if you're anything like me, it always outgrows the bowl. Always. So I get a new bowl. I don't cut off pieces of that bread. Now, some people do. It depends on the type of bread you're making, okay? So if you're an expert in this, send me an email. Correct this metaphor. But in my experience, I don't blame the bread for growing. I don't blame the bowl for being too small. I just say, oh, I need a new bowl. And then I transfer it. That was the metaphor. That is the metaphor that continues to run throughout me. And as soon as I was clear on that, my parenting, I was like, oh, okay. Not only, to use this metaphor, have both of my children outgrown the parenting bowl I could offer them, but they've outgrown it in different ways for different reasons. So now I get to be a bigger bowl, but I also, because metaphors are always messy, I also get to put more experience, more skills into my own dough, and I get to continue to grow. And the same with that coaching relationship. I still have some feelings. I mean, I have to be honest, like, I realize now that I am incredibly privileged. I started getting coached in 2007. I have never had a coach make promises that coach didn't follow through on. Now, I've had coaches that weren't very skilled. I've had coaches that didn't invest in themselves. I've had coaches whose coaching was totally focused on me forcing myself to fit in, right? But I've never actually had a coach who just didn't follow through. And now I understand a lot more when people come on to consults with me and they're like reticent. I'm like, what is going on? Of course I deliver. Of course I show up. And even when I'm sick, and because remember I talked about my autoimmune disorder, and even when I'm sick, if I can't be there, we'll just go longer. We'll double up. We'll do an intensive. But you're going to get what you paid for. You're going to get your damn results. I've never had an experience with a coach who was like, well, if some of the people get results, that's great. And I don't need to deliver. I'll deliver when I feel like it. I don't know. I don't know what was going on in the background. But anyways, so as soon as I got this concept of like, oh, Nicole, I put myself into really big boxes and then I do the work while I'm there. I grow, I make it my own. And then it's time for me to grow into the next box. Not because the box that at one point in time was enormous for me and very exciting, that it's like wrong or it's evil or it was a mess up or anything like that. It's just, it's gotten too small for me. Like, for example, high school. Would you enjoy going back to high school? But remember what it was like on that first day where you're shorter than everyone and the bags are heavy and you don't know how to do your locker and where are the rooms? You just grew into the box and then grew past it. And for me, I did executive communications for a corporate officer, actually for 2 of them. And when I decided to shift into change, people were baffled. Why on earth would you lose access to the C-level? Nicole, you're in the rooms where layoffs are designed and potential mergers are discussed and product issues are torn apart and the strategy is discussed and designed and you're in those rooms. Why on earth would you why would you go away from that? Yeah, because I grew past it. I wanted to do something else. Frankly, I was bored. Was it exciting to know everything before other people knew? Yeah, of course. It was amazing. It was also really boring. So I did change and I traveled all over the world, change management, organizational development, got certified, ran these incredible transformation projects and programs. And then I led them and I brought in teams. It was great until it was boring. Until it was like, I feel like, didn't I do this project? I'll tell you, true story, because I worked at the same place for a long time. So I think it was like 4 years. It was in the last couple of years that I worked there. I got pitched this amazing project and it's going to transform everything and it's going to make such a difference. And I was like, this sounds so familiar. Why does this sound so familiar? And so I actually went back into my private like data server thing over in Europe and I found a proposal, a strategy for the same problem that was over 10 years old. And I pulled it out and I put it into the new branding and I made it a little bit more, with the experience I had, I simplified it a lot and I focused a few more things in and I presented it. And people were shocked. They're like, oh my God, Nicole, this is amazing. How did you pull this together? You must have been thinking about this, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, because 10 years ago, we did the same thing, right? It's okay to grow past the box. This is what I want to say. Ready? Celebrate growing past the box. It's something to celebrate, right? Now, 2 of my clients have recently really been struggling with this. One of my clients has like a lifestyle where every time that her lifestyle comes up in conversation, people are like, oh my God, how did you do that? I don't understand. Is that even possible? Are you allowed to do that and earn amazing money? What? And she wants something else now, right? So she's getting really clear using the Build Your Brave framework. She's getting really clear. What is it that I truly want? She's starting to build momentum around this potential goal, right? Because we don't wait to have full clarity before we step into action. And it's all founded on accountability. She knows who she wants to be. And she doesn't want to be someone who shoves herself into, well, other people think this is amazing. I shouldn't ask for more. I should somehow make myself happy with this. No, she's quickly growing. She's learning more about herself. She's choosing who she's becoming. She's taking action and she's getting more and more clear about how her lifestyle is going to fundamentally shift into a bigger box. She's not blaming the dough for raising. She's getting a bigger bowl. And then another one of my clients, when we first started working together, she had this audacious goal. just audacious. And we worked so diligently for her to get that goal. And she did. She did. She crushed it. She's in this very prestigious company doing this very prestigious work. She's one of the very few women who've ever worked on this type of hardware, electrical, civil engineering. She crushed it. Yes, that's amazing, right? Then she came back about a year later and she was so unhappy. Not because it was wrong, not because it wasn't a good fit, not because the work wasn't interesting, but because she had grown. And it wasn't about changing her job. It was about changing how she shows up, what she asks for in her personal life, the friendships and mentorships and intimate relationship in her life. It was about growing into that next phase and celebrating it. Because she very quickly, right? She started working with me again. Very, very quickly, we realized, oh, this isn't something to struggle against. I don't have to carve part of myself out and shove myself into this box. Rawr. That's not what I need to do. I need to celebrate how quickly I've grown. And then I need to get into the action to shift where I live, how I live, who gets my free time, and how my intimate relationship is set up. So we did that. Because you are going to outgrow everything you currently love in your life. You will. And let's celebrate that. You know, the example that I use right now is I started my coaching business, my independent coaching business. So I was coaching as part of my job for a while. I didn't call it coaching. Anyways, I had to work on my self-concept. All right, y'all, I've been where you've been. Right? When I left and I started my own business, I did consulting and I did coaching. And the coaching was focused on women in tech. I was a woman in tech for a very long time. I get it. Overworked, underpaid for tech, overstressing, and really lonely. Right? So I get it. So I focused on women in tech. And y'all, that first 2.5 years, wow. I am so grateful for past me. My clients in little less than 2.5 years created over $1.5 million in additional income. $1.5 million in a little less than 2.5 years. My clients stopped overworking. They started dating. They started hobbies. And then some of them started freaking businesses. What the heck? Amazing. My clients stopped the unquestioning belief that they're the problem. I need to work more. I need to change. I need to be less emotional. I need to be more like this and more like that and more like this. No. They started stressing less because they embraced themselves more. And they started questioning the systems around them. Is this boss really a good boss? Do I really have support? Does this friendship actually support me? Is this the place I really want to live? Is my partner truly my partner, or is my partner someone who's just pulling on me even more? In just 2.5 years, oh my gosh, I am so proud. I'm so proud that I created the business and that me and my clients created those results. But about a year ago, I started to notice more and more people, non-binary, women, few men, very few men, started coming to me and saying, I'm not a woman in tech. I don't want to be a woman in tech, but I really want to build the skill of bravery. I have this area of my life, and I know that if I just got clear and got going and got accountability, and I just love your podcast. I love how you show up. I saw you in this speaking event, or I saw you or heard you on this podcast. I met you through Fishbowl. Would you be open to coaching me? And I'll be honest, at first I was a little reluctant. I told everyone, like, well, let's give this a shot. And without fail, it worked. And so I stepped towards my current self. I shifted. A lot of people in my practice are women in tech or want to become a woman in tech because that's where a lot of my professional experience sits. But they are all committed to building the skill of bravery. We coach on their career, yes, their income, their budget, their investment. Because y'all, I don't know if you know, but I love money. I love opportunity. I love options. Investing is so fun. We coach on their businesses. Totally didn't see that one coming. Their personal relationships, their parenting, their body love, their relationships with systems like patriarchy and white supremacy and ableism is a huge area right now. And so much more. And I am so grateful because I know past me made a massive difference in every single one of my clients' careers. And I know I grew into and then out of that box because current me is making an even deeper, even broader difference for my clients' careers and their lives. And because now I know you are going to outgrow everything in your life, and I will too. I believe future me will do all of this for my clients and more that I can't even conceptualize in this moment. That doesn't mean it's always been easy. It's been hard to shift. I've struggled to introduce myself as the International Bravery Coach. I needed to lean to my Build Your Brave framework. And as a result, the Build Your Brave framework is maturing. The workbook is changing. And I am so proud that I have. Because we will always outgrow who we are and what we do, no matter how much we love it in this moment. And instead of forcing ourselves to be happy with what we have and what we wanted, we can instead practice gratitude, then allowance, and then continued growth. I wish all of this and more for you. Until next week, I want to hear from you. Does this relate for you? Does this speak to you? When was the last time you allowed yourself to outgrow something? How did you celebrate it? Did you? Because it's never too late to celebrate brave. Brave it up. Hey, before you go, if you find the brave concepts I share in this podcast useful and you want personal, in-depth support to reach your brave goals, I invite you to apply for my 6-month one-on-one Build Your Brave coaching package. I coach you and I teach you everything you need to know to get clear, get going, and become your brave you. Imagine you and me together for 6 months, building your bravery so that no matter your goal, no matter where you're starting, we celebrate your results. You will stress less, you will work less, and you will earn a lot more. Go to tricksteinbach.com and schedule your consultation. Till next week, brave it up.